people, I'm Bharat Acharya. Welcome to my video. Now, what are we doing today? We're doing 8051 programming. Finally, I know you've been requesting for so long and I've been wanting to do this, but it's just that there's so many other videos to be done. But anyway, so we're starting with this whole series of doing 8051 programs. This is the first video in which we're going to cover 7 programs. And then I'll make more videos. We've already done programs of individual theory topics like timer section, serial port and all. This is general programs which you're more likely to get in the practical exam. Okay, so you're going to start with a very simple program. This is a program to multiply 2 numbers. I'll be giving the full question, of course, but I'm just giving you a list of questions. This is a program to divide 2 numbers, multiply, divide, obvious simple questions. Then program to add 2 numbers. Now when you do addition program, there is a complication of carry. So I'm going to teach you how to handle carry. Understand it properly, okay? Because carry is not something that will happen only in this program. 40 to 50% of programs that you do involve checking the carry flag for some reason or the other. The idea is the same always. I tell students in the class, I use this word a lot. You don't learn programs, you learn programming. You learn the skill of writing programs. So in this very simple question of add 2 numbers, I'm going to teach you the skill of handling carry, checking the carry flag and handling the carry. It's that same trick that we're going to use in at least 8-9 more programs wherever carry is involved. Okay, so once for all, understand how to do it. Then we're going to see same addition of 2 numbers, but with external RAM. Now when you do practicals in 8051, be careful about this point I'm talking. The same question, when given to work on internal RAM and when the data is in external RAM, the solution is entirely different. When working with external RAM, there are lots of rules that have to be followed. So what are those rules? What are the complications because of that? Of course I'm going to teach you. This program will be a 6-7 line program. The same question, add 2 numbers, but with external RAM, with again some carry, everything. That 7-line program will become a 20-line program or an 18-line program. Of course, I won't remember the number of lines, but a very big program because of those complications. But again, what are you learning over here? How to deal with external RAM. Understand how to learn programming. You learn different aspects. So here you first of all understood how to handle carry. Now we go one step ahead and learn, understand how to work with external RAM, the rules that you have to follow while working with external RAM. Now those were basic operations, add, subtract, multiply, divide. If you know addition program, you know subtraction program. It's the same thing. Instead of add, you have to subtract. Then a typical exam question, block transfer program, transferring a block of data from one place to the other. At least in Bombay University, hot favorite. I'm sure whichever university you are in, this is asked a lot in practicals, also in theory paper. So this one is a simple block transfer from internal RAM to internal RAM. Then this one is from internal RAM to external RAM. Similarly, there is external RAM to internal RAM, which I'm not doing because once you know how to do internal to external, it's the same logic, it's just the direction will change. And then the most complicated of all of them, transferring a block of data from external RAM to external RAM. This requires serious skills. It's going to take this whole section, it's the biggest of all these programs, and that's going to require some serious skills of handling registers. There is a complication when you're working with external RAM. You want to work with 2 blocks of external RAM. There is a serious complication because there's only one pointer called DPTR. We'll come to that when I teach that program, you'll understand. So I'll be teaching you how to handle DPTR for 2 different locations, etc. Anyway, so we begin. So this is our first programming question. Write a program, listen to the question carefully. Write a program to multiply the contents of location 20 and 21, store the result at 22 and 23. Simple. Write a program to multiply the contents of location 20 and 21. First of all, you tell me, 20 and 21, these are addresses of which memory? Internal RAM, internal ROM, external RAM, external ROM. They have not given anything in the exam. What do you understand? Come on, you're intelligent. Everything doesn't have to be given in the exam. Because, first of all, because this is data, it has to be in RAM. You understand that much? ROM is program memory, RAM is data memory. You understand that, right? Now the question is whether it's internal RAM or external RAM. Because they've given addresses as 20, 21, 22, 23, that means they are 8-bit addresses. That means it is in internal RAM. External RAM has 16-bit addresses like 2000, 2001, etc. We'll be doing programs for those also. Right now we're doing it for internal RAM. Okay, this one to start with. Internal RAM is easier, so we're starting with that. Now, those were addresses. What about the data? This is the data of location 20. This is the data of location 21. What is the size of this data? What is our question? To multiply how many bit numbers? This is a program to multiply 8-bit numbers. Now, how did you understand from that? You want to multiply contents of location 20 and 21. One memory location always carries 1 byte. I have said this numerous times during early explanation of theory topics. One location always carries 1 byte. So location 20 and 21 means 8-bit and 8-bit numbers. So this is a simple program to multiply to 8-bit numbers. See, some examiners are very nice. They will give a very simple question. Multiply two 8-bit numbers stored at 2021 of internal RAM. Some examiners don't give so much detail. If the question is multiply contents of 2021, you have to understand two things over here. First, this is internal RAM. Secondly, the numbers are 8-bit. Now tell me, my friend, when you multiply two 8-bit numbers, the answer is how many bits? 16 bits. You understand that? 2 raised to 8 multiplied by 2 raised to 8 is 2 raised to 16. So when you multiply 8-bit numbers, suppose they are FF, worst case scenario, FF into FF is FE01, which means the answer is 16 bits, which means the answer will be stored in two locations. Do you understand that? Now, when it's stored in these two locations, 20 and 22 and 23, how will you store the answer? There is a principle followed. Lower byte, lower address, higher byte, higher address. Say it again. Lower byte, lower address, higher byte, higher address. This is 22, this is 23. Obviously, this is the lower address, so it will get the lower byte. 23 will get the higher byte. Please tell me, did you understand the question? Take the data of location 20 into A register. Take the data of location 21 into B register. Why? Because you intend to multiply them. Multiplication in 8051 happens only using one instruction, mul B. You want to multiply two registers, two numbers, they have to be in A and B registers. There is no other option. You can add A with a number, A with a register, A with the contents of a memory location. Add. You can subtract, blah, blah, blah. But multiply, divide only happens between A and B registers. Are you clear? So take the first number in A, take the second number in B, multiply the two. Answer will come in yes, B and A. A will have the lower byte, B will have the higher byte. Store the value of A, that is the lower byte, at location 22. Store the value of B at location 23. That is your program. Now, what I always tell my students when I teach programming in the class. First, when you get this question in the exam, first make a sketch of what is happening. Get the idea on paper. Don't keep the idea in your mind, because then what happens when you're writing the program? Half your mind is confused about the logic, half your mind is struggling about the instructions. You make a mix of the two and you make a mess of programming, and you think programming is very tough. Programming is very easy. It's the easiest part of the subject, and I'm serious when I'm saying this. Let these 7 programs get over. Let me do a few more videos on programming and you will completely concur with what I'm saying. It's the easiest part of the subject. The problem is you got to do it right. Don't mix coding and logic both together. Keep logic separate, keep coding separate. First get the logic on paper. Now what do you have to do? Just write the instructions for doing this. Yes, you would argue, sir, this is a very simple program. But my friend, that's how you start. You start with simple programs, and before you realize, you end up writing very big programs. Your idea is first start with simple programs and start doing things in the correct way. So that's what we are doing. Come on. Take the data of location 20 into A. Come on, give me the instruction. Shabash, give me. I can do it two ways. I can write all the programs and explain. I never do that even in the class, because what's the point? Everything is there on the board, your mind doesn't work. I want to form this together with you, okay? So I need your participation. Try to speak it out. If anybody else is looking at you and thinking there's something wrong with you, who cares? Pay attention and understand this. This is just a one-time thing that you have to do. Focus here. Take the data of location 20 into A register. Move A, comma, what? Hash 20 or 20? Exactly, 20H. If you write hash 20, that means A is getting the data 20. We don't want the data 20. We don't want value 20. We want the contents of location 20. That means 20 is the address. We want data from that address. And if there is an address, you don't put a hash. You just write a number. Number with a hash is data. Number without a hash is address. You know that, right? You know addressing modes, right? So move A, comma 20. A gets the contents of 20. Now similarly get the contents of 21 into B. Move B, comma 21H. B is an SFR. The assembler will substitute the address of B, that is 0F0. You don't have to do it. You can write B. The assembler will substitute the address. Some college teachers just have a habit of writing 0F0. That is not wrong. That is also fine. Even if you write this, it is fine. Assembler will anyways put 0F0 as the address of B. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you've taken the first number in A, you've taken the second number in B. Now what do you want to do? You want to multiply them. Instruction. Mul AB. It's not mul A comma B, okay? Mul A B. These are fine points which you only understand when you type instructions in the practicals. Now, I don't know whether you have the time remaining to do it or whether you have your practical exam the very next day, then learn it. If you type mul A comma B, assembler will throw up an error. There is no such instruction. The instruction is called mul A B. Now, you have multiplied them. Answer has come in A and B registers. Answer is 16 bits. A has the lower byte, B has the higher byte. Store the value of A at 22. Come on, give me the instruction. Come on. From A register, store it at location 22. Come on. Move 22H. Good. Comma A. Excellent. Come on. Now from B, store it at 23. Come on, come on, come on. Move 23H, comma B. Job done. That is your program. Tell me, did you understand this? Now what do you do at the end of the program? You draw a line. Don't cross with that cross. No. See, a processor, get this clear, okay? A processor executes programs. Now, when the processor has finished executing this much, processor is not going to stop here. Processor is going to go ahead and start doing other things. And when the processor does other things, the value of everything else will change. So including, for all you know, the value of those locations will change. So how will the examiner come and check your result? Because the values have changed. So what you need to do is stop the processor over here. How do you stop the processor? By writing halt? No, there is no halt instruction in 8051 at all. Then how do you stop the processor? By writing the instruction S jump. What is S jump? Short jump. You know that, right? Which is basically jump over here. Short, long and absolute is just the distance. The idea is it's a jump. Jump to the location here. What is here? Here is a label. Where do you put it? Here only. Jump back to the same location. Now what happens? Processor did this, job done. It will do jump here, will come back over here, then again jump here, then jump here, then jump here, then jump here. So the processor has gone into an infinite loop. The point is the processor has stopped here. It's not doing anything else. That means these values will remain in these registers, and whenever the examiner wants, he and she can come and check them, because that's what they want to do. When your practicals are over, they come and check the values of the registers. So the processor starts doing random things, everything else will change. You have to stop the processor. To stop the processor, you write S jump here. Some college teachers write return. Nothing wrong with that. If you're writing return, that means you're using this as a subroutine. That means it will return back to the main program and do what over there? S jump here. So that return will also eventually do S jump here. Some college teachers write end over here. Now if you've seen the instruction set, we have done 111 instructions of 8050 on the whole instruction set. There is no instruction by the name end. What is end? End is an assembler directive. Say this word again. Assembler directive. That means it's for the assembler. When you write end, you're telling the assembler substitute this with S jump here or return, whichever way the assembler is designed to do it. The point is, if you write end, it will be substituted with S jump here. If you write return, it will go back to some place which will eventually do S jump here. The idea is to stop the processor from going ahead. Stop there. Just 1 second, I will get my phone and I'll show you something. 1 second. Okay. So, for example, on the phone, all these apps are various programs. You understand that, right? They represent different programs, application programs. So say, for example, I call someone and I'm dialing someone. So I'm speaking to somebody. What is that? Is that a program? Yes. Like this, even that is a program. Now, my conversation is going on. Great. Now it's over. The program is over. What happens now? What is the phone doing? Come on, my friend. Answer. What is the phone doing right now? Is it calling other people? No. Is it reading my messages? No. Is it seeing my pictures, watching my videos? No. Is it playing a new game that I downloaded, some chess game or something? No. Then what is it doing? Is the phone off or on? It is very much on. Then what is it doing? A layman says it is doing nothing. That is a layman. You are much more than a layman. You're going to become a techie. Please stop saying stupid things like it's doing nothing. A processor cannot do nothing. If a processor is on, it has to execute instructions. So what is it doing? It is just waiting. How? By doing S jump here. The processor is looping on one instruction, waiting. When will this loop break? When I tap the screen. What happens when you tap the screen? You open a new icon. That means a new application. It will run. So it will get an interrupt, go into that application. Do the application, done. Come back. Now what? Again, it's going to wait over here. You click on another screen, again. That means you tap something else, you're given an interrupt, will do another application, come back, it's again back to the home screen. Please tell me, do you understand? It's doing as of now S jump here. Yes. After some time, when the processor realizes that SJump here is happening for a long time and there is nothing productive going on, then the process, because that also consumes power. It's as good as doing any program. This is as good as doing anything else. It's still consuming power. SJump here is an instruction which has to be fetched, decoded and executed. So power consumption is almost the same. Processor will slowly start dimming the light because it realizes there's nothing useful happening, and within no time will go into a sleep mode. I just activated it by pressing the button because I didn't want to wait for that long. But you got my idea. Now the processor is in sleep mode. This is power saving mode. So I'm going to do a video of this. This is very interesting in 8051. But before that, it was not in that. Now when I click on this, right now what is it doing? It has displayed. Yeah, students say it is displaying. No, it is not displaying. The processor has displayed. Processor has sent it to the display. The display is displaying. What is the processor doing? It will not keep sending this again and again. It has sent it once. Now the processor is doing SJump here, and then again with no action happening, will go into sleep or will get a call and wake up and again do whatever it has to do. So I think I made my point clear. So we end our programs by writing an instruction which jumps back to the same location, or if your college teacher is writing return, no problem. But as a student, when you're curious, you think when it says return, where does it return? Returns back to a location where it is written, where somebody has written SJump here. So that it keeps looping back at that same spot. Are you clear? Now, that was the first program to multiply two numbers. We go ahead. The next question. Write a program to divide. We did multiplication, now we're doing division. I'm changing the question a little bit. I don't want to keep it monotonous, divide the contents of 2021. Then what will happen, it will be the same program. All I'll be doing is substituting multiply with divide. No. So I'm changing the question, listen to the question properly. Write a program to divide 75H by 12. This is actual data. These are not addresses. Divide the numbers 75 by 12. Store the quotient in R0 and the remainder in R1 of bank 3. Did you understand the question? Divide 75 by 12. Store the quotient in R0 and remainder in R1 of bank 3. Okay, do you remember there are banks in the internal RAM? Registers are divided into 4 banks. So, bank 0, bank 1, yes, bank 2, bank 3, I'm good, I'm happy you remember. There is a register called PSW in which there are 2 bits RS1 and RS0, which are PSW.3 and PSW.4. If you keep them 00, you have selected bank 0. If you keep them 01, you selected bank 1. Similarly, 10 is bank 2, 11 is bank 3. We have to make them 11 to select bank 3. When do you do this? End of the program or starting? Of course, starting. This will be your first step. So the first step is to set B PSW.3, set B PSW.4. Making these 2 bits 11 will select bank 3. Now, once that is done, how will you do your division? Again, you will take these 2 values in A and B. Which one will you take in A? 75. Because div AB always does A divided by B. Keep that in mind. Small details, but they make all the difference. Take 75 in A, take 12 in B. Do your division, you will get a quotient and the remainder. Quotient will come in A. Naturally, division instruction gives the quotient in A and remainder in B. Store the value from A to R0 and B to R1 and then end your program by SJump here. Did you understand? For the last time, I'm giving the logic. Make PSW.3 and PSW.4 1 by using the instruction set B against set B, PSW.3 and 4. That will activate bank 3. Take the number 75 in A register, 12 in B register. Do your division. You will get a quotient and a remainder. Quotient will be in A register, put it into R0. Remainder will be in B register, put it into R1. Because you've activated bank 3, they will go into the respective bank, that is the registers of bank 3. Once that is done, program is over. End the program by writing SJump here. Now, can you dictate the program? Now come on, my friend, be honest. First of all, don't be scared. Programming is not tough. It's like swimming. If you're scared, you can never learn it. If you just leave that fear aside and start, it's a skill. Swimming, cycling, guitaring, programming, these are skills. You're not born with it. Sometimes it's just a fluke that you may just start swimming the moment somebody throws you in water. Or you may just start playing the guitar well, somebody gives you in your hand. But 99% of times, you're not born with it. But you acquire them. These are acquired skills. And so is programming. It's an acquired skill. Maybe somebody is a born genius. I'm not. I've learned programming from 9th standard and I've slogged it out. I've learned it well. At least I think pretty decent, whichever way. So my idea is, don't be scared. Start giving instructions. The more you say, the more you'll learn. 18 years of teaching experience. Don't keep it in your mind. If you keep it in your mind, you'll never realize the mistakes you actually make. When you say it, you're committing it. That means you'll really understand, oh, I said this wrong. And that means you'll start improving because you realize your mistakes. So say instructions. No matter what people around you are thinking, who cares? Say the instruction and start. Come on. Activate bank 3. Come on. Make both these bits 1. Give me the instructions. Set B, PSW point 3. Set B, PSW point 4. This will activate bank 3. Once you've activated bank 3, now you can use the registers. Take 75 in A. Move A, comma, hash 75H. Please tell me, did you understand this? Now 75 is not an address. Now 75 is the data. So you'll write hash. Good. Take 12 in B. Move B, comma, hash 12. If you didn't get the hash by yourself, don't feel bad. There is no ego over here. There is no emotion. It's okay. You learned it now. Now you will not make a mistake. There's so many programs. In the class we do 30 programs. Over here as many as I can. It's very time consuming to shoot videos and edit them. But at least 7 right now I'm doing. With these also you'll say, with this much itself it will be a massive improvement if you do it the way I ask you to do it. Seriously. So, A has got 75, B has got 12. Now what do you want to do? Divide them. Come on. Div AB. You've done your division. A has the quotient, B has the remainder. From A, store it into R0. Come on, give me the instruction. From A, store it into R0. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Move, yeah, move R0. Good. Move R0, comma A. Excellent. Move R1, comma B. Job done. End the program by writing sjump here. What is here? Here is a label. Can you call it there? Of course, you can call it anywhere. That doesn't make a difference. Whatever name you keep over here, keep it over here. This is just the name of a label. So there was a program to multiply and divide. I'm sure you realize that I did it differently. Here I did it using addresses. Here I did it using data, so that you're familiar with both. Now, we go ahead. Addition. Multiplication is an easier program than addition, because in multiplication you don't have to care about the carry. But in addition you have to. So now, little serious. I'm going to teach you how to handle carry in programming. Okay? So here is our question. Write a program to add the contents of location 20 and 21, store the result at 22 and the carry at 23. Okay? Now, location 20 and 21. First of all, which memory is this? Internal RAM. You get that? They are both how many bit numbers? 8-bit numbers. Now when you add two 8-bit numbers, the answer is 8 bits, of course, but there is also a possibility of a carry. So the answer can be 8 bits or the answer can be 9 bits. You understand that? So, if there is a carry, carry will be 1. If there is no carry, carry will be 0. Carry can never be 2. You understand that also, right? Both these numbers are 8-bit numbers. Worst case scenario, they are FF. FF plus FF is 1 FE. 1 FE means your sum is FE and your carry is 1. So carry can never be 2, carry can be 0 or 1. So whatever is the sum will come here and what is the carry will come here. Now suppose the examiner has not said where to store sum and carry. Sum and carry are two different bytes. Sum is a byte, carry is a byte. How do you store which one? Between sum and carry, who is the higher byte? Carry. You understand that? 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 means 3 and a carry 1. Which is higher, 3 or 1? 1, because 1 is in tens position. 3 is in units position. You understand that, right? Carry comes after the sum. It's the higher byte. 99 plus 99, 198. 98 is the lower byte, 1 is the higher byte because it's in the hundreds position, 98 is in the units and tens position. You get my point? So carry is always the higher byte. So even if they have not asked you how to store it, please store it the correct way because the principle has to always be followed. Lower byte, lower address, higher byte, higher address. So the sum will come here, the carry will come here. Now how do we go about this? Take the data of 20 into A register. Add the data of location 21 to A register. Answer will be in A register. What will be the answer? The sum. Sum will be in A register. Store the sum at location 22. 90% of your job is over. Now you have to handle the carry. Carry has to be stored at location 23. Suppose the carry is in R2 register. Suppose, okay, I'm just taking an assumption. Sum was in A register, we stored at 22. Carry is in R2 register. We will store it at 23. So the only thing left for us to do is put the correct carry in R2. We have done the step of storing R2 at 23. We have to just put the correct value of carry in R2. Where is the carry? Carry flag. When is it formed? After you did this addition. So once you do this addition, check the carry flag. Now carry flag can be 0 or 1. If carry flag, pay attention, if carry flag is 1, make R2 1. If carry flag is 0, make R2 0. So what will happen? R2 will have finally the actual value of carry. Put the value of R2 at 23 and your program is over. Tell me, did you understand this? Once again, I will give you the logic again. I have a lot of patience. You have to have the seriousness to learn it. I have the patience. Take the data of location 20 into A. Add the data of 21 directly to A. Answer will come in A. That is the sum. Store the sum at 22. You can do this step later also, doesn't matter. Let's follow one sequence now. Store the sum at 22. Now you need to handle the carry. If there is a carry, make R2 1. If there is no carry, make R2 0. So R2 now has the final carry. Put the value of R2 at location 23 as the carry. Program is over. End the program. Tell me, did you understand this? Let's start the program. Don't get scared. Let's start. Come on. Take the data of 20 into A. Come on, add two numbers. You won't be scared of add two numbers. Really? This is the hello world of our subject. Come on. Take the data of 20 into A. Come on. Move A, 20H. So you got the data of location 20 into A register. Are you clear? Add the data of 21. Come on. Add A, 21H. Did you understand this much? Now you've taken the first number, you added the second number. What does A have now? The sum. Store the sum at 22. Move 22H, A. Please tell me, did you also understand this? Now you've taken care of the sum. Now check for carry. So simple. You want to check for carry. If there is a carry, make R2 1. If there is no carry, make R2 0. Tell me, did you understand this? Now, as an advice, a friendly advice, whenever you face a situation in programming, remember the sentence forever, okay? Not just for 80-50 and programming, forever, even in your professional life. Whenever you face such a situation in programs where something can have only two values, like over here, R2 at the end of a program could have only two values. Excuse me. R2 could be 0 or 1. Don't be the fool who finds out both values. There are some people, amateur programmers, kali sikha hai programming, they just started learning programming. They make these mistakes. Professionals look at that and find that funny. If you submit your code like that to your boss, they will laugh at you. If they are nice, they will throw the file if they are serious. If something can have only two values, don't be the fool who finds out both values. Assume one value. Your work becomes half. R2 at the end of our program could only be a 0 or a 1. Agreed? Then why find out both values? Start your program with the assumption that R2 is 0. Move R2, hash 00H. Now, if there is a carry, I will make R2 1. If there is no carry, I will do nothing, because R2 is initialized with 0. Why should I put both values? R2 could have only two values, a 0 or a 1. Who is a fool over here that's going to... You check a coin. Is this heads? No. Is this tails? Idiot. If it is not heads, it is tails. You don't check both possibilities. You check one and you assume the other. Please tell me, did you understand this? Carry could only be 0 or 1. I have assumed carry to be 0. That means if there is no carry formed, a program doesn't need to handle anything. If there is a carry, I need to increment R0. R2, please tell me, did you understand this? So, I have done my addition. I have saved the sum. I just have to check for carry. If there is a carry, I will increment R2. If there is no carry, I will skip. If there is no carry, I will skip. This is skip. JNC. Learn it once. This is how you deal with carry in numerous programs. Learn it once. It's a one-time effort. JNC stands for jump if no carry. Say it again. Jump if no carry. If there is no carry, skip. If there is a carry, it will not jump, because I've said jump if no carry. So if there is a carry, it will not jump. If it will not jump, that means it will come here. That means this line will be executed only if there is a carry. If there is no carry, it will skip and go ahead. If there is a carry, it will do this and come ahead. Basically, in both cases, either you will come straight or you will jump and come in. Both cases, you will come to skip. If there was a carry, you will increment R2. That means make it 1 and come here. If there was no carry, you will leave it. That means let it be 0 and you will come here. I will not explain this part every time in every program. I'm doing so much effort. Understand it once for all. This is how you will be dealing with carry everywhere. So what's your trick to work with carry? Come on, don't look there. Look here. What's your trick to work with carry? Take some register like R2. Initialize it with the value 0. That is your assumed carry always. Are you clear? By default, you're assuming there is no carry. Finish your addition. Now, you have two options. Either there is a carry or there is no carry. Since you assumed R to be 0, if there is a carry, increment R2. So write the line increment R2 and just above it write JNC skip. If there is no carry, skip this line. Otherwise, if there is a carry, you will increment R2 and come down. So basically, when you come down to skip, either you come straight or you've taken a jump. Either ways, when you come to skip, R2 will have the carry. If there was a carry, R2 will be 1. If there was no carry, R2 will remain 0. Please tell me, did you understand this? Now, so when you come to skip, who has the carry? R2. Whether 0 or 1, R2 has the final carry. Store the carry at location 23. Come on, give me the instruction for that. Move 23H, R2. Job done. Finish your program by writing sjump here. Please tell me, is this clear? Let's go through it again. I don't mind, spend 1 more minute. So what? If you're watching the video for the second or third time, skip the next 30 seconds. Come on. Or 60, whatever. Assume there is no carry. Initialize the register for carry as 0. Take the first number in A. First number in A. Add the second number. Now A has the sum. Get rid of it. Store the sum at 22. Sum is over. Now you have to check for carry. There are two things that could have happened. Either there would be a carry or no carry. If there is a carry, you need to increment R2. If there is no carry, you need to skip the line because you have assumed R2 to be 0. Please tell me, did you understand? So, if there is no carry, skip, otherwise increment R2. Now when you come to skip, R2 has the actual value of carry. If there was a carry, R2 will be 1. If there was no carry, R2 will be 0. R2 has the carry, just store the carry. Move 23H, R2. Program is over. Sjump here. Please tell me, did you understand? This was a program to do what? Add two numbers, two 8-bit numbers. From which memory? Internal RAM. Same program. Write a program to add the contents of location 2000 and 2001, store the sum at 2002 and carry at 2003. Same question, but now for external RAM. Big change. Okay, huge change. Again, 8-bit number, same concept. Take the first number in A, add the second number. A will have the sum, store the sum over here, store the carry over here. For carry, again we will take the same register R2, we will initialize R2 with 0. If there is a carry, what are we going to do? Tell me, if there is a carry, what are we going to do? Increment R2. If there is no carry, we are going to skip. So that part is the same, that is not an issue. The issue is how we are going to code this. When you are working with external RAM, there are three problems. First, you cannot use direct addressing mode. If you see all throughout, I have used direct addressing mode. Direct addressing mode means you writing the address in the instruction. Is not allowed in external RAM. External RAM uses MOVEX instruction. In MOVEX instruction, you can only use indirect addressing. Please go back to addressing modes lecture and remember this point. Direct addressing mode works for internal RAM. Indirect addressing mode works for internal RAM also, external RAM also, which means external RAM supports only indirect addressing mode. It does not support direct addressing mode. Are you clear? So, you cannot directly use the addresses 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. You will need a pointer over here. Who will be your pointer? DPTR. DPTR is your pointer for external RAM. So the first thing you will need to do is initialize DPTR with the value 2000. Put the number 2000 in DPTR. For DPTR, 2000 is the data. We will use it as an address whenever we write @DPTR. Please tell me, do you understand? When you write @DPTR, the value of DPTR acts as an address and you point to the location that that address is going towards or pointing towards. So when after initializing DPTR with 2000, whenever I write @DPTR, that means I'm talking about contents of location 2000. Are you clear? So we need to do it. It's not an option, it's compulsory. External RAM only supports indirect addressing mode. So you need to do it, not just for this location, for all locations. Now obviously we are not idiots that we're going to write initialize DPTR with 2000, then initialize DPTR with 2001 and then 2002. We will first initialize DPTR with 2000 and then just go on incrementing DPTR. But we need to do that. Is that clear? So that will itself add about 4 to 5 lines to this program. Wherever we had used direct addressing mode will be substituted by indirect addressing mode. Are you clear? And every time we'll have to keep incrementing DPTR. Now that was the first issue. Second issue. What did we do here? We took the first number in A and directly added the second number. Can you see that? We took the first number in A, directly added the second number. That is not possible when you're working with external RAM. We will take the first number in A, no doubt. Direct addition is not possible in external RAM. I'll tell you what I mean. You have MOVX. Move for internal RAM, MOVX for external RAM. You have add. You don't have ADDX, SUBX, MULX, DivX, ANDX, ORX, XORX. Wow, XORX. Such instructions don't exist. Okay? The only thing that works with external RAM is MOVX. So what you need to do is take your first number, take your second number, and then add them. In internal RAM, what we did was take the first number, add the second number. You understand the difference? We took the first number in A, directly added the second number. Now we can't do that. Now we need to take the two numbers and then add them. Do you understand? This will add more steps. Now this will get even more complicated. Listen, you will take the first number in A. You will take the second number in which register? A only, because there is no choice. Because external RAM only allows data transfers using A register. MOVX instruction, the data can only be transferred using A register, no other register. There is MOVX A, @DPTR. There is no MOVX B, @DPTR or MOVX R0, @DPTR. Doesn't exist. The data that you transfer with external RAM always is transferred using A register. Do you understand how this becomes complicated? That's why this is a 5-mark question, this is a 10-mark question. When an examiner wants to really take the case of a student, they give the question with external RAM. Now, most students, so difficult, leave it. We'll not attempt programs. Come on, you really want to become an engineer without knowing programming? Like, come on, really? Programming is what everywhere. So many people say, no, I'm going to get a job in some core field. What is a core field? Can anybody tell me what you want to make? Fans and tube lights? Even fans and tube lights very soon will start involving programming because everything is automated. So don't think you're going to be an engineer and not write programs. The more you run away from them, the more you make it difficult to get into that system at a later stage. You're much younger right now. Your mind is much more moldable right now. Don't be shy away from programming. You cannot establish an engineering career if you don't know programming. Okay, period. In today's day and life, it's not possible. Yeah, back in the day it was, not today. Today everything involves programming. You make a remote control, you need programming for that. Yeah, fans and tube lights still. Yeah, that's your future. So, coming back. We take the first number in A. We would have loved to simply take the second number in some other register and add the two, but that is not possible. The second number also has to be taken into A. Now when you take the second number in A, you understand the first number will be lost. So what you need to do is take the first number in A, transfer it to some other register like R3, any register, whatever you like. I'm just using R3. Take the second number in A. Now add A and R3. Answer will come in A. What has come in A? The sum. Store the sum at 2002. Check for your carry. Who has the carry? R3. No, R2. I'm sorry. Who has the carry? R2. We had assumed R2 to be 0. Same logic. If there is a carry, increment R2. If there is no carry, skip. So who will have the final carry? R2. Store that final carry at 2003. Job done. Please tell me, did you understand this? I will say once again the whole logic, then we'll start coding. Initialize DPTR with 2000, that's your pointer. Initialize R2 with 00, that's your assumed carry, assuming no carry. Now, using DPTR as a pointer, take the first number in A, transfer the number to R3, increment DPTR so that it points to the next location. Using DPTR as a pointer, take the second number in A, Add A and R3, A has the sum. Check for carry right away, don't do it later. Check it right now itself. A has the sum. Now, if there is a carry, increment R2. If there is no carry, skip that part. Once you reach skip, A and R2 have your sum and your carry. Please tell me, do you understand this? First, you will store your sum. Where? 2002. How will you store it? Increment DPTR. It will point to 2002. Store the sum at that location. Are you clear? Now, again increment DPTR points to 2003. You want to store your carry. Who has the carry? R2. You would want to store it directly to 2003, but here comes the final catch of the question. All external transfers, yes, good. All external transfers with external RAM can only happen using A register. You cannot transfer your carry from R2 directly to 2003. Take the carry from R2 first to A register and then transfer it to 2003 because direct transfer will not be allowed. Please tell me, did you understand this? You want me to repeat the logic once again? No problem. I have the patience. I told you. Initialize DPTR, initialize R2. That's your pointer and your carry. Use DPTR as a pointer, get the first data in A, transfer it to R3. Increment DPTR, get the second data in A, add A in R3. A has the sum. Check for carry. If there is a carry, increment R2. If there is no carry, skip that. Now, A and R2 have the sum and the carry. Increment DPTR, it will point to 2002. Store the value of A at that location. Increment DPTR, it will point to 2003. First transfer the value from R2 into A, then from A store it at the location pointed by DPTR. So you store your carry and your program. Come on, dictate. Come on, don't be scared. 10-mark question. So much better than writing a theory program. The theory answer. A theory answer like timer section for 10 marks, your fingers will pain, the answer will not get over. This is here to here and still gives you 10 marks. Come on, look here. Come on, start. Initialize R2. Come on. Move R2, comma hash 00H. You understand that? R2 is initialized. That's your default carry. Initialize DPTR. Move DPTR, comma hash 2000. Okay, I'm writing small because I want to cover a lot of programs in this video. So space, though it's a huge board, but still because there's so many programs. Anyway, so initialize R2, initialize DPTR. Now, using DPTR as a pointer, get the first data in A. Instruction, move X, A, comma, at the rate, DPTR. So A gets the data from the location pointed by DPTR from external RAM. That means your first data is come in A. Transfer the data to R3. Move, yes, say it by yourself, from A to R3. Move R3, comma A. The data has come in R3. Now, increment DPTR so that it points to the next location. Increment DPTR. Take this, using this DPTR as a pointer, take the second data in A. Again the same instruction. Move X, A, comma, at the rate, DPTR. Did you understand this? Your second data has come in A register. Your first data is in R3, second data is in A. Add the two. Add A, comma, R3. A has now got the sum. Check for carry. Right now itself, check for carry. Don't look here and there. Look here. Don't look that side, please. Check for carry. If there is a carry, you want to increment. You have assumed R2 to be 0. If there is a carry, you will increment R2. If there is no carry, you will skip. J and C, skip. This is skip. Did you understand this? If there is a carry, you will increment R2. If there is no carry, you will skip. Are you clear? Now, when you come to skip, who and who have the answer? A and R2. A has the sum, R2 has the carry. DPTR is pointing to 2001. Increment DPTR. Increment DPTR. So it is now pointing to 2002. It is ready at the position so that A can throw the sum and it will catch it. Move X at the rate DPTR, comma A. Tell me, did you understand this instruction? Store from A to the location pointed by DPTR in the external RAM. Store from A to the location pointed by DPTR in the external RAM. Are you clear? You store your sum. Again, increment DPTR. Increment DPTR. Now you want to store your carry. Your carry is in R2. You would love to store it directly, but that is not allowed. So from R2 first take it into A. Move A comma R2. Now, from A, store it at the location pointed by DPTR. Excellent, excellent. Move X at the rate DPTR, comma A. Job done. End your program by writing sjump here. Here means a label. I am writing H. Is that okay? Just a label. Did you understand the program for the last time? Initialize carry, initialize pointer, using the pointer get the first data in A, transfer it to R3, increment the pointer, get the second data in A, add the two, A has the sum. If there is a carry, increment R2. If there is no carry, skip. So R2 has the carry, increment the pointer, store the sum, increment the pointer, take the carry from R2 to A and then store it at location 2003, end the program. Did you understand? Tell me honestly, did you understand? Now, if this is the first time you're doing programs, yes, there will be a level of excitement in your mind, because you are understanding. If you understood the programs, you will be a little excited. But I would suggest, if you're doing programming for the first time, take a pause over here, break the video, stop it. Even I was very much contemplating, should I do it in one video or two videos? But in case you've done programming, then it's better to carry on in one video. But if this is the first time you're doing all this, just stop here. Take pen and paper. Do these 4 programs again by yourself. Verify it with the video, with the screen. Pause the screen. Verify the program. See whether you're right or not. Get a hang of this, and then let's go ahead. Because you're doing a different type of program now. Block transfer program. So stop here and then start with your block transfer programs. I'm anyways going to move the camera on that side. So okay. So now we are doing a new type of program called block transfer programs. Okay. Let's start. Block transfer programs are typical questions asked in both theory paper and practical exam. This is a program that is used in the background whenever you do a copy-paste. Now, copy-paste is something we do on a day-to-day basis. So, this is a program that does it. You select a set of data and then you're going to paste it somewhere else. It's the same thing. Look here. So, there is a block of data. Let's say, so I'll give you the question. Write a program to transfer a block of 10 bytes from location 20 to location 30. Now 20 and 30 both are internal RAM addresses. That means this is a transfer from internal RAM to internal RAM. We're going to take all cases internal to internal, internal to external, blah blah blah. So we're starting with internal to internal. So your block size is 10 bytes. This is internal RAM, this is internal RAM. What are you going to do? Take the data of location 20 into A, store it at location 30. Next time you want the same data or next data? Next data. So increment this and put it in a loop. Now to increment the address, you cannot give the address in the instruction, because once you write the address, it cannot be incremented. But if you give it using a register, the register can be incremented. Yes, you got me. You understood what I'm talking about. This is indirect addressing mode. You remember direct and indirect addressing mode. Direct addressing mode, you give the address in the instruction. Indirect addressing mode, you give the address using a register. What's the advantage? The register can be incremented inside a loop. So that's what we're going to do. So we need 2 pointers over here. Fortunately, internal RAM has 2 pointers, R0 and R1. So you're going to deploy both of them. Initialize R0 with the value 20. Initialize R1 with the value 30. Initialize R7 with the value 0AH. Please tell me, what is this? Your count. 10 bytes, right? 10 is 0A in hexadecimal. You understand how to do that, right? Come on, yeah? So, this is your count, this is your source pointer, this is your destination pointer. Now, using R0 as a pointer, get the data in A. Store the data at the location pointed by R1. Increment R0. Increment R1. Put the procedure in a loop. You are done. Please tell me, did you understand? Come on, let's start. Come on, don't be scared. Block transfer. Come on. Initialize R0, R1 and R7. Come on. Move R0, comma hash 20H. Move R1, comma hash 30H. Move R7, comma hash 0AH. I have initialized these 3 registers with these 3 values. This will act as a source pointer, this will act as a destination pointer, and this will act as your count. Now, using the source pointer, get the data into A register. Move A, comma, at the rate R0. When you write move A, comma, R0, A will get 20. When you write move A, comma, at the rate R0, A will get the contents of the location pointed by R0, which means contents of location 20. Tell me, did you understand this? So get the first data in A. Now store it at the location pointed by R1. Good. Move at the rate R1, comma, A. Please tell me, did you understand this? Now increment your pointers. Increment R0. Increment R1. Now put this procedure in a loop. For that, who has the count? R7. DJ, I have taught you how to make a loop. DJNZ R7, back. This is back. What is DJNZ? DJNZ stands for decrement and jump if not 0. Decrement R7, if it is not 0, jump to location back. Again decrement R7, if it's not 0, jump to location back. We'll keep doing this whole cycle 10 times. First time R7 will become 9 because it was A. A means 10, so it will become 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It will do 10 operations and stop, which means your 10 bytes will be transferred. Are you transferring the same data to the same place? No. Every time you're incrementing R0 and R1. So first time you'll transfer from 20 to 30, then 21 to 31, then 22 to 32. Students say, sir, why do you take in A? There's no way you can do it without A. You cannot write move @R1, @R0. I'll tell you one thing. Simple. 2 RAM registers can never come in one instruction. So move @R1, @R0 is not possible. If it was possible, I would have myself avoided using A, but there's no way you can do it without it. So take it into A, store it over here, increment the addresses, put it in the loop. Isn't this a simple program? And this loop is over, job done. As jump here. This is a typical block transfer program. From Bombay University's point of view, super important. From all the programs on the board, most likely program to come in the exam. From all these programs. Okay, there are a lot of programs. I'm talking about all of these. Block transfers are like their favorites. Now, of course, block transfers have various types. This was internal to internal. Now we're doing internal to external. What's the difference? This is internal RAM. Your pointer will be R0. This is external RAM. Your pointer will be DPTR. That's the only difference. Write a program to transfer a block of 10 bytes. 10 means 0AH, which you will keep in R7. So what's your logic? Initialize R0 with 20, initialize DPTR with 2000, initialize R7 with 0A, source pointer, destination pointer, and your count. Take the data pointed by R0 into A, store it at the location pointed by DPTR, increment R0, increment DPTR, put it in a loop. That's your program. Come on, will you be able to do it? It's pretty similar to this. The only difference is here you use R0 and DPTR instead of R0 and R1. Secondly, doing this transfer from R0 to A will be a move. Doing the transfer from A to the location pointed by DPTR will be a good MoveX, because this is internal RAM, but this is external RAM, so that transfer will be MoveX. Okay? Not initialization of DPTR. That is just a simple move instruction. I'm saying the instruction where you're transferring data from A to the location pointed by DPTR, that will be a MoveX because you're transferring into external RAM. Come on, dictate. Come on, by yourself. Get more confidence. Come on. Initialize R0. Move R0, hash 20H. Good. Initialize DPTR. Move DPTR, hash 2000H. Initialize R7. Move R7, hash 0AH. Now take the data pointed by R0 into A. Move A, @R0. Store it at the location pointed by DPTR in the external RAM. Move X @DPTR, A. Increment the addresses. Increment R0, increment DPTR. Put the procedure in a loop by writing DJNZ R7, back. Back is a label which I will be putting over here. This is back, so this will do this section 10 times, 20 to 2000, 21 to 2001, etc., etc. 10 iterations, block is transferred. Let's jump here. So this was internal RAM to external RAM. Now suppose I ask you external RAM to internal RAM. I'm not solving it, I never solved it in the class also. It's the same program, just different direction. Come on. Same thing, external to internal. Come on. Initialize R0, initialize DPTR, initialize R7. Take the data pointed by DPTR into A. This will be MoveX. Store it from A to the location pointed by R0. That will be a regular move. Increment, decrement, and decrement the count. Come on, dictate the program. Move R0, hash 20. Move DPTR, hash 2000. Move R7, hash 0A. Now, take the data from DPTR to A. MoveX A, @DPTR. Store it from A to the location pointed by R0. Move @R0, A. Increment R0, increment DPTR, DJNZ R7, back, and let's jump here. Are you clear? Whew. Now we come to the most interesting of all. Okay, now, okay, the level is going to go high. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. If your teacher, swimming teacher, is going to tell you, okay, now we're going to go into the deep section, it's the job of that teacher to inform this to you. That doesn't mean he or she is scaring you. They're just informing it to you. Okay, I'm just informing. This is not a program that you can watch with your phone lying down with you on the bed. You gotta be serious for this one. Okay, if you're tired, take a break, come back, leave the video at this point, come back and continue from here. Now, what is the situation? First, I'll dictate the question. Write a program to transfer a block of 10 bytes from 5140 to 9384, external RAM to external RAM. What is the problem? Why is there so much fuss about this program? To do a block transfer, you need 2 pointers. One for the source, one for the destination, correct? Now, when we did from internal RAM to internal RAM, we use R0 and R1. Internal to external, R0 for internal, DPTR for external. External to external, I need a pointer for the source, I need a pointer for the destination, but I am helpless because there is only one pointer that works for external RAM, that is DPTR. Yes, if you've learnt addressing modes thoroughly and if you also remember that lecture, for external RAM you can also use R0, R1, but they have very limited range, and purposely I have taken addresses beyond that range because that's what the examiner will do. I'm not here to fool you by solving simple questions and telling you, okay, now you know programming, and then you see the exam question and you're like, yeah, so exactly. So I'm tackling the tough one, and we hope you get an easy one, but I'm tackling the tough one. Okay? Now, so I have taken addresses which are both beyond the range of R0, R1, which means you will have to use DPTR for the source, you will have to use DPTR for the destination. Both pointers will be DPTR only. Now what will happen? If you use DPTR for the source, you will initialize DPTR. Pay attention, okay? I've started the explanation. You will initialize DPTR with 5140. Using that as the pointer, you will take the data in A, correct? Now you want to initialize DPTR with 9384. Then what happens? You will lose this value. So what do? Store this value into some registers. You will not need one register, you will need 2 registers because it's a 16-bit value. No problem. So this is how we're going to do it. Patiently hear it once, then I will repeat it, then I will repeat it again till the time you get it. But patiently hear it once. Initialize R1 with 51. The moment I say this, students say, oh, you again using R1, R0. I'm not using them as pointers. I'm just using them as ordinary registers. Okay? Initialize R0 as 40. Initialize R3 as 93. Initialize R2 as 84. So what happens? R1 and R0 together hold the source address. I am not using them as pointer. DPTR will be the pointer. I am just using R1, R0 to hold the address so that they can give it to DPTR and take it back from DPTR so that DPTR becomes free to point to the other one. Did you understand? If you're smart, you understood it already. Otherwise, no problem. You're still smart. Maybe I went too fast. I will say it again. Just keep trying. Don't switch off the video. Keep trying. Now you got into it. Now you're going to finish it. I'm using R1, R0 as 2 registers to hold a 16-bit number. That is your source address. Are you clear? I'm using R3, R2 again as just 2 registers to hold the destination address. Are you clear? First, I need DPTR to point to the source. I will put the value of R1 into DPH and R0 into DPL, which now means DPTR is pointing to the source. Did you understand this? I have initialized now DPTR with 5140. Students say, sir, what is wrong with you? You could have simply written move DPTR, hash 5140. Even I agree, I could have done that. Then what do you do when you come back into the loop? Next time again, you cannot initialize DPTR with 5140. Then every time DPTR will be 5140 only. What we're going to do is, we've initialized R1, R0, R3, R2. That's it. That happens initially. Now in the loop, R1, R0 give the value to DPH and DPL, which means DPTR is now 5140. Using this as a pointer, take the data into A. So the first data has come in A. Increment DPTR right away. DPTR will become 5141. Put that value from DPH and DPL back to R1 and R0. Did you understand what I said? Why am I doing this? For now? No. For next iteration. I will finish my whole business over here. When I come back for the next iteration, again R1, R0 will give the value to DPH, DPL, that means to DPTR, but this time they will not give 5140, this time they will give 5141. Did you understand the point? And I'll use that as a pointer, get the data, again increment DPTR, put the value back. When I come back, I'll get 5142, then 5143, then 5144, etc. Please tell me, did you understand? If you did, tell me what's going to happen at the destination. The same thing. Take the value of R3 into DPH, take the value of R2 into DPL. This whole section is now DPTR. DPTR is now pointing to your destination. Store the data from A to the location pointed by DPTR. So DPTR, you stored your data at the destination. Now, increment the value of DPTR. Why are you doing it? For now or for next iteration? Next iteration. Increment this value. Put this value which is there in DPH and DPL back into R3 and R2. Your count is in R7, which is 0AH, that is 10 basically. Decrement that count, put the procedure in a loop. When you go back in the loop for the next iteration, DPTR will be 5141. You will get the data, DPTR will become 5142, we'll put the value back into R1, R0, and DPTR will come here, and so on and so forth. That's your program. Please tell me, did you understand? I will repeat the whole logic. Please don't make me repeat it again. Get it in this one now. Initialize R1 with 51, R0 with 40, R3 with 93, R2 with 84, R7 with 0A. That is your initialization. It should happen outside the loop, in the beginning. Done. Now, take the value of R1 and R0 into DPH and DPL. DPTR becomes a pointer to your source. Using that pointer, get the data in A register. Immediately increment DPTR. Put the incremented value back into R1 and R0 from DPH and DPL. This will be useful when we come back again. Now it will give us 5141, but that's in the next iteration. This part is over. Now come back. On this side, take the value of R3 and R2 into DPH and DPL. DPTR is now pointing to your destination. Store the data from A to the location pointed by DPTR. Increment DPTR. Put the incremented value back into R3 and R4 for the next iteration. Please tell me, did you understand? Done? You've taken the data from the source, stored it in the destination, incremented both the addresses. You are ready for your next iteration. Decrement your count, put the procedure in your loop. That's it. You are done. Tell me, did you understand? Can we do it now? Come on, don't be scared. Don't keep looking at the water without trying to swim. Come on, don't be scared. Don't let the water scare you. Don't let this logic scare you. It's still at the end of the day a block transfer. It's not rocket science. It's a block transfer. Come on. Come on. Initialize R1, R0, R3, R2 and R7. Come on. Move R1, comma, hash 51H. Move R0, comma, hash 40H. Move R3, comma, hash 93H. Move R2, comma, hash 84H, and move R7, comma, hash 0AH. Please do all this outside the loop. Are you clear? Outside the loop, please. This is all initialization. If this happens inside the loop, the value will remain constant in every iteration. It will not go ahead. Okay, all this should be outside. That's why it's called initialization. Now, your code loop. Come on, different color. Come on. Take the data pointed by R1 or take the value of R1 and R0 into DPH and DPL. Come on, come on, come on. Move DPH, comma R1. Move DPL, comma R0. DPTR is now a pointer to your source. Using that pointer, get the data in A register. Move X, good. If you remembered this, I'm so proud of you. Wow. Move X. A, comma, @DPTR. You have taken your data in A. Increment DPTR for your next cycle. Increment DPTR. Don't let the value remain in DPTR. DPTR is now going to point to the destination. Get rid of the value by putting it back into R1 and R0. Move R1, comma, DPH. Move R0, comma, DPL. If you're smiling right now, that means you understood the program. I need to do the same thing now for the destination. This was for the source. We do it for the destination. Again, different color. Take the value of R3 and R2 into DPH and DPL. Come on, pick up speed. Move DPH, comma, R3. Move DPL, comma, R2. DPTR is now pointing to your destination. Store the data from A to the location pointed by DPTR. Move X @ dptr, good, comma A. Store from A to the location pointed by dptr, that is 9384. Now, increment dptr for your next cycle. Increment dptr. Put the incremented value back into R3 and R2. Move R3, comma dph. Move R2, comma dpl. Done. This was your destination part. You've taken the data, you stored it, you incremented the address, you're ready for the next iteration. Put the procedure in a loop. The count is in R7. How do you make a loop? D, J, N, Z, R7, comma back. This is back. Job done. Finish the program by writing sjump here. This was block transfer from external RAM to external RAM. Check it out in your college. There'll be 10% students in the class who know how to do this program. You want to be in that 10%. Okay, you want people to come and ask you, help me to do programs. You want your teacher to look up at you and take you as a serious student, not like somebody who's just one amongst the crowd and doesn't care about engineering. Anyway, this is a serious program. So you saw how far we have reached. We started from simple program to multiply contents of location 2021, reached up to here. As and when I get the chance, I will make more programming videos. In the classroom, we have ample time. I teach the subject for 60 hours, 20 lectures of 3 hours each. So we get 2-3 lectures only on programming. So we keep doing programs till the time students find it like second nature. That should be. Somebody gives you an exam question, programming question, you should be able to solve it. Programs are the simplest thing. This is any day better than writing a theory answer. Theory answer, first of all, never give you full marks and you have to write so much with a big diagram. This, if you know how to do it, this is a matter of minutes and it'll give you 10 out of 10. Anyway, so I think you understood it. As and when I get the chance, I'll make more programs, okay? Wish you all the best. Do well.